Sadly, there aren't many people left to share with us that first-hand experience of working on the Quatermass Experiment and with Nigel Kneale. But there is one.
And there's just the two of us today. We'll have our own tea party.
Well, Jane, thank you so much for talking to us.
Not at all. It's a pleasure.
I'd like to cast your mind back. You get an audition for a film.
Well, I was only 8. I remember being frustrated that I wasn't allowed to see an X certificate.
X, yeah.
So there's no way I was allowed to see it.
Look, aren't they lovely? Don't be frightened. That's only the old rats that live in this old boat.
Do you think your parents might have had worries about sort of catapulting you into this terrifying situation? Because it's a, it's a scene with a monster, with a man turning into a monster from outer space.
I don't think they would have thought that.
Oh, we thought you were rats. Won't you stay and have tea with us?
I think I was pretty tough as a child, but as you well know, when you're filming something like that, it's not in the least bit terrifying. And that's what I can remember about it, that Richard Wordsworth, who plays the astronaut who went up and came down very strange, and had this horrible suppurating arm kind of bursting out of his sleeve, I think.
That's right.
And I can remember him having it pumped up by props or whoever was in charge of this weird fake arm, and being just fascinated by what they were doing and so on. So, no, not in the least frightening. And of course, he was the most delightful, charming man and couldn't have been less frightening. So, no, I don't remember it being scary.
You look so tired. There's plenty if that's what you're worried about. And cakes, too.
He directed a production of Peter Pan where I played Wendy when I was 15. I wonder if he remembered the little girl who I had the little scene with in Quatermass, and then cast me as Wendy.
Please, won't you have tea and cakes with us? Don't be frightened. We would like you to stay very much.
With no dialogue, he conveys such sort of suffering. He's not just a monster, he's a transforming
Well, he's fighting
man.
against it, isn't he? He's trying,
yeah.
and particularly in the scene with me, he's trying not to hurt this little girl. He's so lovely the way he has to hit her doll, which is, of course, heartbreaking because the head comes off her doll.
Tell him, Dolly.
Poor child. But he's doing it because he doesn't want to touch her and infect her. And yes, he's noble. He was a delightful man, absolutely lovely. Again, as you well know, the more kind of horrific and terrifying and awful the plot is or the script is, or the more upsetting it is, very often the more laughs there are on the set, almost sort of counteracting what it is that you're playing. And I just remember having a really good time on it. Anything that took me out of school was a joy, really.
Absolutely.
And you're treated as an adult, and you get a tutor on set, so you learn far more than you'd be learning while you're at school. The whole thing was lovely.
And what about Nigel Kneale himself then? Did you have much to do with him?
I thought he was delightful. I met him obviously several times while we were doing the Stone tape. I wish now I'd talked to him more about it, and at the time you're busy working and you don't. But I liked him enormously. He was I think, from the little I knew of him personally, I think he was an extremely science-based, sensible, clever guy who happened to write in these genres that are often not written in that way. And that's what makes a huge difference. He makes them believable because somewhere they are science-based to a certain point, and then they obviously, he extrapolates it beyond. But I always felt with him, he knows what he's doing. He wants us all to think rationally and sensibly, and yet he's taking you off to these worlds that are apparently irrational.
What's this about, Peter?
Well, you did say ghost. Oh, silly word. Don't be put off by it.
There's a theory behind it that it's almost possible to believe in without believing in a lot of, superstitious or surreal nonsense.
Analyse a spook, eh?
Well, let's say it's a mass of data, waiting for a correct interpretation.
I think that's brilliant. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's the rational meeting the irrational.
Yes.
why do you think Quatermass has lasted in a way that a lot of genre contemporaries hasn't?
Mainly because he was such a brilliant writer, I think, a brilliant writer. And I remember watching Quatermass on the Pit on television, being absolutely terrified. I can't remember a lot about it, but something moving in the sand.
The gravel moves.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I just remember watching that, absolutely terrified.
And it's very funny that you remember exactly the bit my mum remembers, which is the gravel moving.
Does she?
When I was first watching Quatermass in the Pit on video at home, she walked in and she went, I remember this, the gravel starts moving. I was like, I think you're probably remembering something. And literally,
How interesting.
Literally,
How
the guy hit
fascinating.
the floor and the gravel started to move.
Yeah.